What's going on, guys? The AOA show and Dr. Bonehead teaming up yet again with another ToG rankings video. This time we are comparing the top 6 fights in the Hell Train arc. Let's get right into it. So coming in at number 6 on this list is Joakim versus Vicente. I think it's Vicente. I never knew if I was pronouncing that correctly. I don't know if it's Vincent. Whatever, you get the point. This is a very interesting fight because it's cool to see the swords clash, right? Metaphorically and physically, but it's also cool to see their backstory, right? These are people that have been combined into the same body for quite some time, and the reasons for why they combined into that body is because they have this shared experience of trying to overcome their father, who for all intents and purposes is kind of a jerk. So they're coming together to do this, but the kicker here is that Vicente is the ultimate master of defense, whereas Joaquin is just gifted and a master of offense. But Vicente is never someone that he could really beat, especially when it came to the other siblings. These two are clearly the most gifted for those reasons. So it becomes very interesting seeing these two go at it in that sense, because it's an unstoppable force meeting and a movable object in that sense. So through the clashing of swords and through the storytelling of this fight, you really get some enlightenment on what Joaquin is all about, what Vicente is all about, what white means. All of that kind of stuff gets put out in the limelight for everyone to see, and it really just lets you take a little bit of a dive into this character that has now been a mainstay in the story for quite some time. So for those reasons, this one being a good setup fight and just a damn good one to read in general comes in at number 6 on our list.
All right, coming in at number 5 is Wang Non and Iwa versus Kasano. This is at Train City, right before everybody's boarding the train, or more specifically Rachel's group. And this fight is super cool. You know, it's following up after Kun enters and he's cornering Rachel, you know. And this is super cool because Wang Non especially has never really had a real chance to throw down with other intimidating characters. You know, he fought a couple characters in the last arc, but they weren't that intimidating, right? But this is the first time that he actually gets to use his own brain, his own skills, and we get to see that it's not all about courage with him, you know? He's also quite skilled as well, and he has the bombs that Sophia made for him. If, you know, to be fair, he's directly countering Kasano with these bombs, but it's still super cool to see, you know, chucking the bomb and catching it and stuff. And then Iwa as well, who has now learned to actually control her flame to a much higher degree. It's super awesome, and you see them tag teaming, you know, they're from the same team, and it's awesome seeing Kasano start to sweat a little bit, you know, and he even throws down a little bit. It's a cool fight. It's just awesome. I've said awesome like 5 times so far, and that sums up this fight. It's super cool. It deserves number 5.
Okay, number 4 on this list is the Squad, I'll just call them, versus the Myrotic Guardian. This fight's really cool because there's a lot of complicated stuff going on, right? You've got Ran, you've got Prince, Mi-sung, Aka, etc. The whole crew, basically everybody who isn't the main cast, which is Bomb, Kun, and their immediate company, facing off against this Guardian. And it's really cool to see how well they blend all their different attacks together to try and get the jump on this Guardian, who we've seen fight a little bit throughout the arc. We saw him scrap up a little bit with Daniel and his squad, and then Bomb and Haru-yun sort of towards the middle of this arc, but this is it. This is like the all-out, we've got to take him down here, and it's just such an incredible display of everybody in this squad's power, and it's just an absolute thrill to watch. There's a lot going on, and it doesn't really service, I guess, the main plot per se, which is why it's only number 4 on this list, but it is some really impressive fighting nonetheless. So that's why it's at number 4 on this list. Okay, and the third greatest fight in the Hell Train arc is Yuri versus Pedro. So the really cool thing about this fight is it's one of the first fights that we see where we're talking about ranker and high ranker status opponents going toe-to-toe, right? We have Pedro, who is a subordinate of Karaka, who even gives him this thing called the Purple Dementor, which is actually a ability and a power that is a little bit above Pedro's level, going toe-to-toe with Yuri, someone who's a high ranker and from the Ha family. It's really, really cool and impressive to see this whole poison tactical Dementor thing that Pedro has going on. And I mean, this is the guy who was left in charge of the Hell Train, or the Hell Express, and for good reason from the looks of it. However, no need to fret, no need to worry. He is no match for the one, the only, the true Queen of the Tower, Yuri Jihad, because she is easily, through her nuclear fist and her incredible powerful Shinsu control, able to dismantle Pedro and basically end this fight. Although she does give him a compliment that he is good enough, or could be considered good enough to join Jihad's Royal Guard, so that's something. We're putting this fight at number 3 because it has, again, a little bit of everything. It's got action, it's got incredible powers at display, and again, it's one of the first few times that we really get to see some higher level opponents in this arc go at it and like really go at it. It's an absolute thrill to watch or read, and that's why it's taking the number 3 spot.
And number 2 on our list for the Hell Train is Iwa versus Angel. Dude, this fight is insane because it's not even so much a fight between the two, it's an absolute smackdown. Iwa is a character that we know she's been super strong, she's from a great family, you know, she got a super high score on the Shinsu test in the beginning of season 2, but we've never seen her actually destroy a character who's super strong. Even with her fight with Wang Non against Kasano, you know, she was supporting Wang Non, but she wasn't really showing her dominance like she could be. And this fight, she goes wild mode and just starts destroying Angel, just destroying Riguel. And it's surrounded by all this emotion because of Riguel's past and everything, and Iwa's flame. It's such an amazing scene, and the fight is dope. This is the first time, in my opinion, that SIU's artwork goes from like an 8 or a 9 to like a 12, 15, 20 out of 10. You know, Iwa's rising into the air, the flames are surrounding her, and Angel screaming. This fight is beautiful. The story is great, and it's just so freaking badass to watch Iwa just throw down. It's amazing. Iwa's my girl, but we all agree collectively that this fight deserves number 2.
So when all is said and done after all these beautiful fights, how could we not end up with Bomb versus Joaquin as number 1, right? This is kind of the climax of the dollar show of this segment that we've deemed the Hell Train arc here in our covering. It seemed fitting to put these two as the best fight in this part of the story. This is where ideologies clash. This is where Bomb, as a character, has to grow, but oddly enough, not in the sense that most people would think he has to grow. He grows in the sense that he finally has bloodlust for someone. And that's a very interesting thing to me, because Bomb is a very reactionary character. So for him to make the conscious decision to be like, I detest what it is you're doing because I genuinely believe it's wrong, not because somebody else told me it was wrong, says a lot for his character. And it really just shows how messed up Joaquin is as a person in this moment. Beyond that, just the entire game here, where Bomb is willing to put life and limb on the line to save as many people as possible, and then even trying to save other people, is really fantastic. And then the climax of this fight really comes to when Bomb receives the souls from Joaquin's other half, and he is able to use them to actually beat Joaquin at his own game, manifesting the sword and beating him. And it's not just Bomb that is beating him, which is a really key takeaway here, and one of the reasons that at first I was a little hesitant on putting this fight at the top of the list, but then when Joe explained it, he said, Ian, it's not just Bomb that's beating Joaquin. It is the 1 billion some odd souls that have now manifested themselves inside, been absorbed by Bomb, now coming all together in this grandiose moment in order to get back at the person who has subjugated them, has oppressed them, had killed them so long ago. So this is really an instrumental moment in Tower of God, and really justice being served in this moment, and it's nice to see that Bomb is the vessel for that justice to be enacted in this fight. There's so many things that go down, and for this reason, we feel pretty confident in putting this one at number 1. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our ToG rankings video this week. If you did, make sure you guys are throwing a like on this video. If you are new here, make sure you guys are also subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell, sharing with your friends, and commenting your thoughts down below. What did you think of our top 6 fights? Would you have done something different? Would you have switched the order up a little bit? And let us know how much you love Tower of God. We're always looking for those sorts of comments. Also, make sure you guys are heading back over to Dr. Bonehead's channel and catching the other parts of our ToG rankings series. Next Thursday, we'll be hitting up the top moments of the Hell Train arc on his channel, so you don't want to miss it. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the flip. Peace.
Ninjas are samurais, blaze of the kunais. Find me in the leaf of the cloud, screaming out Bankai. We just some ghouls though, who like seeing parts fly. They like what you saying, Goma got more through the storylines. I tested your neck from the start, my hunters gon' come for your heart. I promise you'll land in my boulevard, left them in one piece, no